So I think I'd already mentioned to you guys that because of the pressure that people were under in first semester, there was a decision to reduce the number of questions to 4. So we'll still give you the same number of questions. And I mean, I can't often achieve anything because I'm really just a lecturer and in this instance, the developer. But I think just raising the issue about the time constraints has been good. So if they keep to the papers that I've set up, guys, you will get 7 questions. And of those 7 questions, you need to do 4. My suggestion when you start your exam, and remember, you're doing this in this new, I don't know, online center framework thing that you're writing in. I don't even know what it's called. And yeah, I don't get involved in that. But I think do yourself a favor and get yourself 2 monitors set up so that you can work on 2 monitors where you can have the paper open on one and then write on the other. That's the first thing I would do. It works for me, and that's why I have a screen set up everywhere where I work as a second screen. The second thing to remember is to start by looking at the questions. My suggestion is you need to look at past papers because there are only so many things that I can ask from here. But I've been setting these papers now for a good few years. And I think if you look at those, you can definitely pick up trends. Now, and I've obviously done that as well and looked at some trends from the past. I don't know, because surely the invigilator, Dill Cam, they will look at you through your camera. So I'm not sure about that. So maybe I need to verify that. I'll verify that. In fact, let me verify that right now. Hold
Yes,
on.
because it could look like we're looking at our textbooks, for instance, if you're looking at another
Oh,
screen.
that is just stupid though, because you're looking. Okay, let me just see. It's a good point, Boya. Crumbs. Nothing is ever simple in terms of this kind of thing.
And
I'm
so,
sorry,
sorry,
guys. I'm just going to leave a message. Yeah,
so
go
even
for
like
it.
in the
Yeah.
instance, like for some of us, like because it's a lot of like essay writing, like I know,
Yeah.
some people will, it could be misconstrued for cheating, but I mean, like, say if you want to have like a scrap piece of paper to write your thoughts while as you're writing the essay, and it's also like, how does one go about that? Because like now,
Okay.
do you not
Yeah,
have
because you
any
see, I'm a
scrap
visual
paper, any
person, so I
planning? You
will
just
draw
have
mind
to.
maps to answer questions.
Yeah, that's what I do,
Yeah, you're
something
right,
similar
dear.
as
I'm a
well.
visual person. Yeah. Let me just put it on here, and then we'll see what they come back with. How's it, Ali? Ali, please, I've got a couple of questions. We're doing our NSS for the postgraduate students tonight. First question, can they have 2 screens open? So have the paper open on one screen and write on the other screen. Obviously, they will be referring to the other screen. Will that be misconstrued as looking at a textbook? Secondly, can students have a piece of paper that they draw their mind maps on when they write? Or will that also be misconstrued as cheating? Please let me know. Cheers. Okay, guys, I've put it on the lecturer group and they must answer for everyone. Right. So, yeah, in terms of the paper itself, please start by looking at the questions. If you've prepared properly, and I mean properly, and I know that you've got a monster GBB, whatever, BB, I don't know what the heck that is called, that global business paper. But if you've spent time immersing yourself in the slides, etc., you should have no issue in answering my paper. Start by finding the 4 answers and the 4 questions that you can deal with without breaking a sweat. Remember, you'll exclude 3. You have to do 4 out of the 7. So it is a lot easier. The second thing, guys, for some of the questions, and I'm trying to recall how I normally set these papers up, because we don't get the questions when we see this particular brief. Now, in honors, you see the questions as well included in the brief, but the questions are very, very different. I will give prompts in the answers. So please start by looking at those questions that have the prompts in. Some questions will have fewer prompts than others. But I will give you, for example, if I had asked you to discuss some framework, I will give you the headings in the framework that will act as prompts. So find your 4 questions. You do not want to sit and dither about which question or not. You would have had to prepare well enough to be able to tackle certainly 4 questions. What I did today is I looked at past papers and then I looked at the case studies. Now, remember, I set these exams. Oh my gosh, guys, I set these ages ago, and some of these were updated because of changes in moments in history. But these are set a while ago, so I don't know the questions that are asked. But if I look first of all at the first one, so we can see that the first lot is about ABSA. So Article 1 is ABSA, which means Article 2 will also tie in with that one. So it talks about the second one. So Article 1, 2, 3 again is ABSA, so that will be part of one of the exams. And then Article 4 is ABSA as well. So what you've got in those 4 articles is the fact that there is significant enough information to work on. In terms of Article 5, that would be the second set. Oh, no, it refused to do it. So from Article 5, you can see it's about the American election. So 1 to 4 ABSA, 5 to whatever is the American election. I've made sure that in terms of the questions that I've asked, that they link to content here. Because remember, at this level, our focus is very much on finding a way of integrating theory and application. So when you present your stuff to me, you have to give me a balanced view on making sure that there is sufficient theory and sufficient application, because that is obviously what we use when we mark based on the rubrics. What I've done based on what is here without looking at the questions and trying to remember some of the stuff, I know that in terms of just by looking at this here. Now, yeah, I've got to, I'll leave this as a message on the group. So if we look at the first one and the ABSA one, the first 4 articles, as I had said, the kinds of things that come to mind automatically, guys, is I would not be surprised if there was a question on transformational leadership. And we will know in terms of transformational leadership. Hold on a second, let me open those slides. Sorry, I should have been a little bit more organized. I think transformational leadership is here. Let me try and just find it quickly. Hold on. Really good. Okay. Oh my gosh. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is when your lecturer doesn't know what he's doing. Guys, which unit is transformational leadership in? You see, what I should do is do this on the other side, and then you guys will be impressed at how well I know my slides. Transformational leaders. Okay, so it is LU3 theme 2. Where the heck is transformational leadership then? LU3 theme 2. Nope. Sorry, guys, I'm being completely useless right now. Definitely not that one. Okay, so I know this is authentic leadership.
Dr. Annie, it's Learning Unit 2.
Oh, thank you, Fabian. Yeah, that's 25% extra. Just ignore all of this, guys. So I definitely know that you would have to do something on transformational leadership. It just suggests, if you look at how much trouble APSA is in, you will see, and I'd be very surprised if it's not this stuff on transformational leadership. I tend to like this as a framework when I ask questions on transformational leadership. So just remember to look at about slide 24. Also, just remember the idea of transformational leaders and their ability to elevate people in terms of performance above what those individuals would have expected from them. So please remember, transformational leadership is there. Maybe just be able to define transformational leadership and then just look at the components. Now, and the reason why I would imagine that transformational leadership is there is simply because this is a company in trouble, and what I quite like is that line there. APSA is a place you go to get fired if you are in the executive ranks. So please remember that is a key one that you need to look at. The other one that I thought about in terms of this one is when you look at ARI, whatever it is, I think don't be surprised if there is also a question on authentic leadership, because this person is the definition of inauthenticity. So please also remember that authentic leadership, I'd be very, very surprised if there's not something on authentic leadership. There's a lovely description of how deceitful and deceptive this person is. So please remember, guys, have a glance at authentic leadership, go through the different components of authenticity and authentic leadership. Remember, it really is that thing of to thyself, thine own self to be true, the idea that you don't wear a mask, that what you see is what you get, and it's based around ethicality and values and the notion that you want to make a difference in the world with just being who you are. Please have a glance at some of the elements of authentic leadership. Yeah, I think also, the model that always stands out for me is this one here, the sort of the components of authenticity and authentic leadership. Please have a glance at authentic leadership. The other one that yeah, shucks, sorry. The other one that I don't know that sprung to mind, and again, it's simply because of the number of people that they've had over time, and I sort of feel that there is something on leadership development that I could have asked as well. So please remember leadership development in learning unit 4. I mean, there's the potential that there's something on devise a leadership development process, and how do you go about starting a leadership development process. So have a glance at leadership development. Certainly, guys, have a glance at the kind of these kind of initial slides, because it just lends itself to that as well. And then, yeah, I know that if I look at some of the past stuff, I've always asked stuff on team leadership. My problem with this one is I can't think which aspect of team leadership I would have asked. But have a glance at team leadership as well, because there's a real deficiency in terms of that, guys. And then I don't know whether I would have I would have asked the question here, but I also just think in terms of the kind of distributed leadership. If I look at the trends in past questions, I've always snuck a question on distributed leadership in there. So have a glance at those. Um, yeah, it's so difficult. Well, I'll put in the rider at the end. If we look at the next one, the Joe Biden lot, the moment you see, where is that? My apologies, Joe Biden, and you'll see I had to update this one because he then withdrew from the race, so we had to shove in Kamala, and the realities that Kamala would have faced. Um, Guys, I think in terms of the Joe Biden, again, looking at patterns and trends, the moment you see someone like Donald Trump, you will know that there will be something on authenticity and authentic leadership. I find him being the most inauthentic, false. Let me not share some of my other views because the CIA might hear me calling him a scumbag. But it really is the fact that he is potentially the person who will be in charge again of the most powerful nation in the world, and lacks complete authenticity. I mean, we don't even know what his skin color is, to be brutally honest with you. And if you are a Trump supporter, I would suggest not telling me, because I'll find a way of failing you, just for the record. So authenticity definitely with this guy. Guys, the one thing that I also thought about with this is, if I look again at patterns and trends, there was always a question on something to do with charismatic leadership, because the moment you look at politicians, I think there is always the sense of charisma, and we tend to associate charismatic behavior typically with politicians, and each politician, I suppose, except maybe Joe, but every politician in their own way is charismatic. So I would definitely also look at charismatic leadership, because it just lends itself to charismatic leadership. It just really does. So according to this, it's learning unit 3, but it might not be again. Unit 2, who can find charismatic leadership? No, it won't be there. Nope, it keeps opening that. Offhand, who knows where charismatic leadership is? I don't think it's in here. It would be in this learning unit over there. So the idea of a charismatic leader, and again, the moment you think politicians, you think charismatic. We know that there are other areas, in particular when ideology is at play, that charismatic leadership is a reality. Guys, have a glance at charismatic leadership for me as well. Just be able, in my mind, just be able to discuss what makes a charismatic leader. So the idea of being able to, because of their presence, raise people to follow and to do things, and essentially with things that they sometimes might not consider themselves. And then to just say, there is, in the past, there's always been something on strategic leadership, so be careful about strategic leadership as well. I can't offhand now. We've had strategic leadership open here. Definitely look at strategic leadership as well. Can someone help me where strategic leadership is, please? I'm irritating myself right now. Yeah, so strategic leadership, guys, please just have a glance at strategic leadership. Yeah, in particular, sort of the role of strategic leaders, the kinds of things that differentiate them from traditional leaders. They're all also other stuff that yeah, you can have a glance at the strategic leadership. The problem is what I'm doing as I sit here is I'm telling you to study everything. But again, when you've only got 4 to answer, you can spot some of your stuff. And the stuff that I suggest you spot, I would be very surprised, guys, if we look at this case study here again, that I didn't ask something on critical leadership, in particular critical leadership from a gender-based critique perspective. I don't know why that slide's open. That's just pure fluke. But if we look at the challenges that someone like Carmelo would face, I mean, I don't believe, and I've been proven wrong, and you know how unorganized and stupid I really am. I don't believe America could ever have a female president. However, I deeply hope that she can break that trend. Having said that, I think just the patriarchy are against her. In America, they have rules. You have to be a certain height. You've never had a bald president in America, and you've never had a woman. So I think there's definitely something on critical leadership studies, in particular from a gender perspective, guys. Yeah, and then just one of the other questions that I saw make an appearance goes to here, guys. I see that this one here, the 4 different approaches, please glance at that one as well, because I definitely have asked that question a number of times in the past. I know that I'm not being helpful, but I really think I'm being very helpful if you listen to the recording and stop at the different stages where I'm not confused and looking for slides. That to me would be my predictions. So to just go through your bit there, go look at my past papers, go find some past papers. You'll see the trends that I've used to arrive at these questions, guys. I'd be very surprised if you can't find 4 out of those. I'd be very surprised if you can't find 4 out of those. I don't know if I've helped you whatsoever, actually. When a lecturer admits his own deficiencies. Any questions, any comments, any concerns at this stage? You guys can talk, I'll listen. Go for it, Fabian.
No, it's looking good. It's pretty much learning leadership and just concentrating, focusing on the patterns and trends.
But
I think
isolate those bits out that I've suggested. To just say again, guys, this is based on those trends and what makes sense in terms of what is here. To also just say, I do the same thing for the 3rd years. I look at past papers, I go through trends, and I'm normally pretty good at predicting what's in there. So, I wish I could recall what I've put into these papers, but it's not fair. But I also think, guys, Yeah, you were with me in first semester. I'm not going to repeat anything that I'd said in first semester. You can discuss it on the group if you want. Thanks, Cleo, for that. Anyone else? Any concerns?
Doctor, just for clarity, are we going to have
Tina,
7
yes.
questions?
Yes. And then what else are you asking me? If they've not changed the papers, you will get 7 questions and you will need to answer 4. If they've not changed the papers. Did they say how many questions are in here? Several questions. Oh gosh. I know for a fact that I said 7 questions. I don't know what the HOP will do with those questions. He might kill one and give you 6, but I definitely said 7 questions. I don't know if that answered you, but you need to do 4. I'd be very surprised if he had killed any of my questions. No, Bill, I think they definitely will give you a minimum of 6. I think he'll give you the papers as I had developed it. I'd be quite disappointed if he doesn't. So I think it'll be 6 or 7, definitely not 5 or 6. Okay. Yeah, exactly, boy. You know, we fly blind, guys, and that's the challenge. But I think you fly less blind than other students doing this. Any other questions?
Hi, Doc. Can we answer Walter's question? Be reminded where to find these case studies.
Oh, okay. Walter, it's on your portal, but I'll share this on the group right now. Hold on. I don't know if it'll show on the group. That's my worry. Hold on, I'm just shoving it onto the group now. Hold on. Right, I've just put it on the group, guys. The problem sometimes is, oh, it's not allowing me to load it. It's not allowing me to load it. You have to be kidding me. It's not allowing me to put it on the group. Guys, it's obviously got protects in that I can't put it on the group. Yeah, thanks, Courts. Student materials, Walter. It's not allowing me to load it onto the WhatsApp group. It's obviously limited my permissions to do that. That's absolutely infuriating. Go and get your own. Okay? Go and get your own one. Right. Any other questions? Thanks, Courts. Walter, did you see there? Guys, please take note of that.